Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Danielle and I'm from Cageless Readings. So today's pick a card. We're looking at what's coming next in love for you. There will be an extended, we'll be looking at what your person wants you to know. This is for people in relationship or people who are still looking for their person. That being said, please just check in with the readings. If they're not feeling aligned with you, please do not keep watching them. Choose another pile. So that being said, pile 1 is going to be this Selenite wand. Pile 2 is this rose quartz pyramid. And pile 3 is this piece of Trolleite or Trolleite. So if you need a few more minutes to choose a pile, please take that now. You can always pause the video. I always recommend getting grounded, taking 3 deep breaths with slow exhales to just get more centered, let go of your day, and ask if one of these piles has a message for you. So after you've done that, I will see you in your pick a card readings. Hello, pile 1. So you chose the Selenite wand, and I'm just going to place it right in the middle of the frame. We're looking at what's next in love for you. So I'm just going to shuffle the cards now, and I'm always asking for your highest possible future, all in love and light, and for your highest good, and for any guidance to come through that will be helpful for you to get there, to the result you're wanting. So, we have passion, Black Panther. I really love this. So Black Panthers are always associated with wisdom, having clarity on where you want to go, having learned from past mistakes, we'll say, or past experiences. So this is actually a great card coming through for you right away. And passion, obviously, we all want more passion in our love connections. Well, I shouldn't say everyone, but I personally think it's a great thing. And then eagle spirit, so trust in your higher self. So this is actually really interesting. So a lot of messaging around, you're going to get new perspectives on love. That is really neat for those of you who are magic. Wow. Okay, I was gonna say, I feel like this pile is probably dating, probably not in relationship. You don't have to be, but here is why I'm saying this. So when I see learning from past experiences, coming at things with a learned wisdom, and being able to see situations and people more clearly from a non-judgmental place, but a place of clarity around perhaps patterns, attachment styles, and personality traits. And then magic, own your power and foresight. You are able to see what is in store for the future. This kind of makes me lean more towards someone who has learned from some unfortunate dating experiences, and you kind of know what you're going to look for. You know how to vet the system a bit better, and you know how to not burn so much energy on connections that aren't going to be worth it. So that's why I feel like it's more likely that you as a viewer is not in relationship. If you are, how I could see this coming in for you is just learning from past mistakes and patterns in your relationship dynamic. So you might be currently trying to get out of tricky cycles or experiences with your partner and trying not to repeat past patterns and ultimately increase that level of connection and passion and intimacy in the relationship. When I see the higher perspective and foresight in that regard in people already in relationship, I would say this is definitely coming from you're really starting to see the connection between behaviors, words, habits, actions that take place and how they lead down to these patterns. So what I really love with the Raven coming through for that group is own your own power, is like seeing that you can create small changes to start, how would I say that? Start creating change in that dynamic, like breaking cycles or patterns before they go down that full path of no going back. So own your own power also talks a lot about owning your own accountability in relationships. So for both groups here, single or in relationship, it does talk about realizing that you can only be accountable for your part. You can show up, you can be reflective, you can emotionally take accountability for where you might have been misperceived or accidentally caused miscommunication, or misunderstood someone, but you cannot do the work ultimately for other people. So in both situations, it talks about understanding that there's only so much you can do. And as long as you're paying attention to how you can show up the way you want to, how you can get your needs met, setting boundaries, but also hearing out others, that's ultimately your only job right now. So it feels like there's quite a bit of peace around this. I think you're already feeling this like realization that it's not all on you to fix. It's not all on you to figure out, and you can only do your part. So I really like that. It almost feels like taking less pressure off yourself in love in the next coming bit. I would say when I see this reading, I kind of feel like this is going to be really for the next month, but perhaps it can even follow through into the next couple of months. But I imagine for this group, something's going to shift for you. So if you're watching this reading now, I imagine your energy is going to be a little bit different because I think you're going to be in a different situation in about a month. So that is exciting to see a lot of reward there. At the very least, I think within 60 days, you're going to start seeing some big changes because you're in a very high accountability energy where you're like, I am seeing the things that I might not even like to see. And it's almost like I keep saying, it's like you've taken out the judgment on it, which is why you're able to see things that perhaps there might have been guilt or shame around. And it feels like a game changer for this pile. So I just was like pulling cards, not really realizing it, mindlessly, I guess you could say. And I also got discernment. So look beyond immediate appearances. So once again, there is a lot here about, I feel like really seeing people for their actions, for what they're actually doing, showing up as, and like it says here, discerning between what are words that are said but not actually followed through on, what promises are made but never fulfilled, and actually looking beyond like the presentation or the original package you're being presented and actually just seeing what is actually true, what is actually being followed up on, what is actually happening. This does seem like it's, for some, it could be a sign to say, like, if you're in the dating world, like maybe really making sure that you're not falling for the charisma of others, but actually seeing what they actually are doing and if they're actually doing as they say. And then for others, I do feel like this is for people in relationship. It could be talking about perhaps actually seeing that there's more hurt or wounding behind the other person's words or actions than you're realizing. Just meaning like perhaps really seeing how much they are hurting and how much they're responding in these reactions and dynamics that you might be previously stuck in. So it does feel like if you're in a relationship, it's having more compassion to understanding why these actions are happening. If you're single, it is like not getting deceived by charisma, the charisma of others, and really just not trying to be judgmental, not looking for faults, but just really saying, hey, like, I like what this person's saying. There is a lot of attraction. They have a lot of charisma, but are they actually delivering what they are saying? Are they showing up as they say? Okay. And then also, funny enough, pulling another card, we have owl omens. So pay attention to signs. So if you're someone who's like, I know I've been seeing some red flags or some yellow flags, just really being honest with yourself. Are you dismissing them? Are you not really taking them for the full what's the word I'm looking for the full seriousness that you do need to be looking at them for? Like, if these are signs of person's character coming through, then it is really important that you actually see them, even if it's hard, even though there might be that like hope or that like attraction. Are you getting what you're looking for? And then guardian, we have, you are safe and protected at all times. So I love this. So this usually comes through when it will just be really hard to pursue relationships with people who aren't going to be right for us. So it usually comes through if, say, if you're dating, you're just like constantly not able to get a time to meet them, or something happens, or they bail on you, or they ghost you and then come back. It's kind of saying like, this actually could be a way that your time is being protected by your guides, your helpers, and it's really important to kind of pay attention to that. And also being said, it can also just mean that the relationship itself is protected for those of you who are in a more turbulent time, who are wondering if you're gonna make it through it, how it's gonna go. It does say like it is protected. They are gonna help you try to see that other perspective and have the other person see your perspective. Because there is a lot of bird cards coming in. So there's a lot about other people being able to see your perspective as well as you being able to see theirs. So once again, if you're in a relationship, the message is quite different. It is more like optimism that although it's in a tricky place, the other person is seeing your side. Or there is, I shouldn't even say a tricky place, there's just tension or discomfort here. The other person is seeing your side. So as always, I like to pull some guidance and suggestion cards for you on what can you do to stay the most centered as possible during this time, because our relationships, our love life have a huge impact on us, whether we're in them or not. There is a lot of societal pressure, and there is also a lot of longing for those connections, for finding your person. So I just always want to get guidance for you on how we can keep you the most balanced and centered during this dysregulating time. So here we go. I should say that too. The overall energy coming from this pile is that there's some tension, there's some fear, some doubt coming up, and it's more so around if you're going to find your person, or if your person you're currently with is going to be your person, and just kind of like all those like confusing emotions that come up. There is a little bit of underlining energy of despair just lightly. So I don't want to say like you would be consciously being affected in all areas of your life by this energy, but I feel like when you think about your love life, these emotions would be surfacing. A little bit of despair, a little bit of fear or anxiety or tension around it. So that being said, let's pull guidance cards for you, my friends. We have first fairies. This is a great card. So this card you can also see as play. It talks about you need to take time to just let yourself do some things for pleasure, for play. So if that means like taking a day where you only work for half of it and you take a little bit of extra time to yourself, or maybe you start with some slow mornings or some early afternoons, and you just let yourself do some things that are relaxing to you and playful. So when I say that, I kind of think of things like, for example, I like really like editing photos. Even though I don't ever really post them on my social media, I have a ton amount of photos, and this makes me think of like something I actually really want to do is I actually like editing them. I mean, it's just a thing that brings enjoyment to me. It's not stressful. It is to some people a little bit of work, but if I'm doing it for my own photos, it's actually quite fun for me. So this makes me think of something like that, where you might just be in a more restful position. Maybe you're sitting on a couch knitting, maybe you're making a craft, or I want to say jewelry, probably because they're holding jewelry here, but if there's something like that that you enjoy, it could be a really great time to just like give yourself like an hour of leeway to just do that and have like a slower start. And the whole purpose behind this is to like bring down like some of that stress or frustration or mental energy that is going to relationship or to love, and just kind of rekindling a little bit of like, oh yeah, there's other things in life that just bring me some simple joys and pleasures. For some of you, it could even be baking or something like that, but it's just like, yeah, having a cup of tea or a cup of coffee and having that hour to yourself where you just remember that there's some things you take joy in that aren't really maybe needed in life, but you just do enjoy. So integrity. This is a great card. Align your actions so that they match your values and inner knowingness about what's right for you. So this is really great, as you got so many cards saying like you actually do see things quite clearly. You've learned a lot from past experiences. You've learned a lot from like relationship dynamics and patterns you've fallen into. So when I see integrity coming through, it says there's probably some actions that you know you need to start taking, or maybe even routines you need to start implementing. And it comes through when we know we should be doing it, but we haven't quite gotten the momentum to do it. So you've been thinking about it for sure, or you've even just started doing some of this. So this would make me think, if you're dating, if there's some people in your inboxes on a, say, dating profile, and you know that you're kind of in a runner chaser dynamic, it would suggest actually taking some action that feels aligned with how you want to be, how you want to represent yourself, and setting boundaries about what you need, and recognizing when there is some like addictive patterns coming through versus things that actually are integrity with who you want to be and how you want to show up. So you could be sending some text messages to some people and just saying like, hey, it seems like it's not quite working out. We don't seem to quite be meeting each other's needs, or something like that. You can ask ChatGPT, make it real easy for yourself. But it does feel like there's some hard conversations that once they're done, you actually feel really proud of yourself. So the dating profile inbox makes me think of one. Other things, if you're in a relationship, I would say if there's just some things you've been really hard on yourself about not showing up for someone in a certain way, or not being the kind of person you want to be in the relationship, I feel like first this is talking about forgiving yourself, being kinder on yourself, and then making decisions or actions that will set you up to be more successful. So if that is, say you're like, the energy I'm getting is someone who's in a little bit of conflict around within the relationship. It could just be like needs not being met. I feel like this would be suggesting that you actually kind of hold yourselves accountable for having like a check-in time, or maybe you put a reminder in your phone to bring up a conversation if you're just not that good at remembering those things. But it does talk about forgiving yourself first, and then just aligning your actions so that you can feel like you're showing up as the person you want to be. And that takes away a lot of guilt and shame that could actually be causing some of that, we'll say more like lower energy, like heaviness that you might be experiencing when you think about love life. Okay, other guidance coming through for you, my pile ones. We have twin flame. The answer to your question involves a spiritually based romantic relationship. So I kind of find this funny. It does talk about, for those of you who are in a relationship, it is definitely a need to have more conversations with your partners. So it is saying like your solution comes through communication with them, which I suspect this pile already knew. For those of you who are in the dating world, I do feel like this is talking about as well, like this is definitely about your love life. If you're wondering if I'm talking about other areas of your life, it's definitely love life that comes through. And yes. The other thing I want to say is definitely, I feel like if you start implementing some stricter boundaries about who you give your time to, I think you're going to find your person a lot faster, just because you'll have more energy, you'll have less of that burnout, and you're really going to grow in your confidence and being able to hold boundaries and know what is worthy of your time, if that makes sense. So if people, once again, I'm talking more specifically about the runner and chaser dynamics, if that is coming through, that is like one of those first signs that someone might not be emotionally available or quite right for you, and not quite in this energy of being able to be your soulmate or your person. And maybe it's something someone's just needing to hear here, is that your person would find a way to meet up with you, would find time in the day to message you back. Everyone's person ultimately does. Runner and chaser dynamics with a lot of charisma and a lot of attraction are the ones that are hard to let go and keep us feeling like we need them. And it's just sort of that anxious, avoidant dance that is addictive and yet feels really terrible. Okay, next we have sacral chakra. So the main focus for this pile is to really get connected with that more playful energy. So sacral chakras are play center, our passion, our creation centers. So it is saying like to rekindle a little more spark in your energy, in your soul, and even in your relationships, whether you're hunting for one or trying to figure one out a little bit more. Having that joyful energy makes it a lot easier to deal with problems and conflicts. So this talks about even perhaps, I would say what came through for me is like spending time on things that bring you joy on your own, but then also bringing in some more joy into the relationship dynamic. If you can do more lighthearted things from time to time and just rekindling that play, but it really has to start with you. You've got to remember life isn't so serious. It's okay. You don't always need to know exactly where things are going. And just being a little more present is what I get from this card, because sometimes we can get really caught up in like having to know how it's all going to go. If this is our person, is this person going to be with us forever? Like, it's like, just breathe, my friends, and give yourself permission to not have to figure it all out. Enjoy the roses. That's what I want to say. Isn't there something like that? Stop and smell the flowers. There we go. Stop and smell the flowers. Okay, and you know what? I'm going to pull from one more card deck, just asking if there's anything else my beautiful pile ones need to know right now that will be helpful for them. All in the light for your highest good. Anything else you need to know? I also realize I haven't introduced Charlie here, but you know, he's in a lot of these videos, so you've probably met him before. All right. Here we go. We have see your emotions as teachers and retreat to the natural world. So here we go. Emotions can be vehicles for transformation. Whether joyous or challenging, they can teach you how to overcome fear and cultivate compassion. So this is actually a really great one because, like I said, there is this energy of like despair, a little bit of anxiety, stress, just like general, like, am I going to find my person? Is this my person? Am I wasting too much time with this person? I feel like kind of all those, you know, doubts are coming through. And I want to say if you sat with your emotions and like the more specifically the parts or the doubts that are coming up behind those emotions, I would wonder if there would be some needs that aren't being met that you would get connected to. So this is something for you to ponder if you have a therapist or I was going to say a consultation. I don't know why I was going to say that word. Anyways, if you have someone who is part of your health team, I would recommend maybe bringing up some conversations around that and just really getting some clarity for yourself about why is this fear coming up? Why? Like, because it is weighing emotionally on you, and that's what we don't want to see, is you just being brought down and feeling heavy or shameful or guilted or something like that. Okay, and then also retreat to the natural world. Go where you feel most alive. A peaceful forest, the mountains, your local park. Let the ocean roar through you. Be revived by nature's wonders. So I really love this because this talks about sometimes we need to get distance from what we're getting really fixated on. So especially if this pile finds themselves ruminating a lot in their house, really great to go outside and just get focused on what's around you. And it's almost like reminding yourself that this isn't everything. It can feel like everything, love, connections, relationship struggles, can feel like everything in the moment, but it's really important that you remind yourself of the small pleasantnesses, I don't know if that's a real word, in life, just to keep yourself feeling centered. And it even says like, go where you feel most alive, because essentially what's happening is you're going to a place where you don't feel very alive. You don't even know really if it's like exciting to be alive, I feel. And then over here it's like, all right, we need to get some space from that. We need to get you feeling more grounded and more present, more embodied, and out of that mind. More embodied is a really big one here. Okay, anything else? We have ask a dream for guidance. So dreams offer wisdom beyond logic tonight. Ask a question before bed. In the morning, write down a dream and look for the answers. So I love this. So it's saying this is where I feel like the answers might be a little bit within yourself. Like there's parts of you that I feel like are wanting to be heard or acknowledged. So those could be fears or doubts. And I feel like your higher self also has some wisdom for you. So it can be ask a dream, or it could even be like do a meditation, do some journaling, and get just some time with yourself just to really check in with what's going on within you, what beliefs are coming up, what dreams are coming forward. Yes. And that being said, you might hear my cat Steve here. This is where we're going to end this part of the reading. And I'm wishing you the best of luck in love this upcoming month. All right, we're going to move into the YouTube members only portion of this video. So if you are interested in becoming a member, you can always join for however long you want, and you do get access to all the other videos. So if that's something you want to do just for one, I do recommend you go check out the other videos as well, as there are extended readings as well as members only pick a card readings. So in the extended, we're going to be looking at what does your person want you to know, whether you've found them already or in relationship with them. Hello, my pile twos. You chose the rose quartz pyramid. So we'll just place that right in the center. We're looking at what's next in love for you. So all in the light for highest good. What's next in love for you? We have joy, lighten up, hummingbird. Ooh, that's a great card to be coming through first. I also love that there's so much pink on it, like the rose quartz she chose. So lighten up, more joy. Okay, what else is coming through? Okay, this card kind of wanted to come through. Gratitude. All right. Be grateful for all these that you are all blessed with. Okay, what else is next in love? Innocence, retreat. Some interesting energy. Free yourself of guilt and shame. Stop trying to make something happen. Very interesting. You know what? Some of these piles, I'm like, oh, it's so hard to tell if people are in a relationship or single and dating. Okay, what else wants to come through for these piles here? Serenity, slow down, pause, and breathe. Love it. And I'm also just going to ask for clarity on, is this group single or in relationship? All right, have a backup plan. A possum. Okay, I kind of feel like it's both. That's what I'm going to take from that. It's so funny. Okay, so I'll try my best to not make it too confusing as we go between two energies, but I will try to disclaim when I'm talking more about a message being specific to singles or to those in relationship. Okay, so part of me is thinking if you are in relationship and you've chosen this pile, there's a lot about saying to take a little bit of a step back and just start reflecting, remembering what's going right in this relationship, what's going well, things that you really do appreciate about them. Because actually, what I'm getting over here is you might be someone who's feeling a bit pressured to move things along quickly. So this is going to be very specific, but I feel like if you're in a relationship and you chose this pile, you're probably someone who might want to be moving in a little sooner than your partner's comfortable with, and do this within reason. I'm talking about someone who it might be like under a year of dating and you're feeling like you should be moving in, or you're wanting to get married, or you're wanting to have kids, or all those things above. And so you might have a tight time frame and you might be kind of pressuring this partner to move faster than they're feeling comfortable with. If that is the case, then this pile is for you. If you are someone who's single and dating, there's a lot about just taking time to recollect yourself. You might have been feeling a little burnt out by the people you were dating or the matches you were having, and just feeling like, like it wasn't really going anywhere. And it might have started to take a toll on your mental health or emotional health, in the sense of starting to feel like less valuable, or like your self-esteem might be down. And if that's the case, then I feel like this is saying it's really important for you to take a step back. Doesn't mean you have to give up dating sites forever, but I think it could be good to go on a pause and just recenter yourself, like really recenter yourself, coming back to why you want to even put yourself out there, what you're wanting from a connection, and the value you bring as a person, just as you are. Because I feel like you've gotten to a place where perhaps you've forgotten your value. You've forgotten how to have confidence in yourself. And I even think the joy piece is really important, because I feel like it's kind of taken some joy away from connecting. Like, I feel like you are probably a pile in for both sides who really want a relationship. You really want partnership. And you might be someone who has always had a priority on romantic connections, and you might just be in a place where you've forgotten why you love love, like why you love relationships with those partners. And it really, for both sides of this, it's really important for you to just take a moment to kind of come back to that. Like, whether you're feeling pressured to speed up a timeline for children, marriage, moving in, or you're feeling pressured because you don't have your person, it's like, come back to, why are you even excited to pursue a romantic partnership? Why are you even excited to have that person in your life? And I know that's corny, but it's like, sometimes when all those pressures are coming up, we can actually forget about the human we're trying to be in relationship with or trying to meet. So what are the things that's going to bring into your life? And I'm going to say, try your best to leave out children, leave out marriage. What do you actually want in your day-to-day, emotionally, fulfillment wise, that this person's going to bring in, just them, outside of kids and marriage and finances. I know that can be challenging and you might even feel like that's not worth your time, but I think it's really going to be important because it prioritizes the type of person you want in your life, the type of love and connection or marriage you want in your future. So lightening up is literally just coming back to the most basic of it. What is it about love that you're wanting? What is it that you wanted them to bring? How did you want to feel in your connection? And I'm feeling like it's probably a little more joy, a little more happiness, just feeling happy in the connection. And then I would say the be grateful part comes through strongly when it's like being grateful for the things that you do have right now. So those in connection, like the things that you are really grateful about that person, like what do they do that you just love? What is a character trait or personality trait that just like you absolutely fell for? Like just kind of coming back to those things. And then if you're someone who's dating, this is a gratitude for yourself that's coming through. So what are you so grateful about yourself for? Like what have you done for yourself? How do you show up in the world that you're really proud of and you're really grateful for? And just like coming back to those basics, like it's really important that you see what is working well, because I think there's been a focus on what is missing or what you don't have. So it's kind of coming back to what do you have right now that is actually going well or working well. I know, not the funnest exercise and it can be a little annoying, but this does come up when it's saying we might actually have disconnected from that side of things, and it could really help bring more, what's the word? It could help raise the spirits about moving forward. That's the word I'll use, raise spirits, or bring more hope, which seems funny to say that word again. So then next over here, we have innocence and retreat. Free yourself of guilt and shame. So this is where I feel like on both ends, whether you're someone who's feeling pressured in a timeline in a current relationship, or you're someone who's just feeling like there's something that you must not be doing right, or you're not good enough, or having confidence or self-esteem issues in the dating world, because let's be honest, it really does take a toll, modern dating, because people ghost you, people don't swipe on you, you make connections and they just don't seem great. Like it just talks about freeing yourself of any guilt or shame you might be putting on yourself around this. So if you have a little voice in your head or a big voice in your head that is constantly telling you that you should have this by now, you should be better, or you should something, anytime there's a you should, you want you to really look at those statements and actually go, wow, like, is that fair to myself? Like, am I actually being fair to myself? I'm doing everything I can. And ultimately, like, this is out of my control. So maybe it's just even maybe jotting down some of those common phrases you might have come up within yourself, whether, like I said, it's a mental voice or just an emotion or a sensation that comes through in your body regularly, I would think. Just checking, is it actually on you to be responsible for that? Can you let go of some of that shame and guilt you're putting on yourself? And then retreat. Stop trying to make something happen. So this one, it comes through very directly. I feel like it's retreat from those dating sites or apps if you're feeling really defeated by them, or they're really starting to just feel more like a job and something you dread, and you're dreading each match more than anything. Take a break from them. Honestly, take a break so you can just come back and remember who you are and the kind of person you want to be and your value, and let that self-esteem and confidence come back, because like I said, I really feel like it's just exhausted you if you're on those dating apps. And then for those of you who are in that connection, I really feel like the words that stand out are stop trying to make something happen. Ultimately, your person, your partner, will need their own time and space to be ready for things. And sometimes if we put that pressure on someone else, it can actually make them feel like they're in an ultimatum, like it's this or that. And if they're not ready, it could actually end up creating a lot of resentment in future. Okay, sorry about that. Quickly changed my battery, but yeah, stop trying to make something happen, or just say it's just putting pressure and perhaps future resentments on the relationships, or creating more tension between you and your partner. So I would just say, as hard as it is, because I know you're feeling pressured and stressed, is to take a breather. So this is where I see this whole slow down, pause, and breathe card. Like, ultimately, if you come back and do step one, where it's like remembering what you're grateful for about this person, remembering why you even wanted a romantic partner in your life, taking time to just slow down and breathe, and just coming back to, does this person meet all the love requirements that I'm wanting? Do they want kids in their future? If they do, then we'll get to it. But when this person is feeling pressured and rushed, and like I said, this is specifically for those who are like, if you're like asking for a timeline that is like within under a year of knowing each other, and this person's like, yo, I just like need I need a little more time than that to feel stable in this connection, then this is what this message is coming through for. So, and that being said, let's just see, what do you need to know about moving forward in love this year? What do you need to know? Clear yourself. So ask the angels to resonate toxic energies that you may have absorbed. All right, so very first thing is definitely getting some energy clearing, shaking some things off. This can even be like shaking off the old thoughts and beliefs you've had. Could quite literally be like cutting cords with bad dates you've been on or beliefs you've had. So sometimes people like to just visualize like chopping cords or connections that aren't serving them. Other people like to do a little prayer, like say, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, bless you, and I release you, you release me, something like that, where it just says like, hey, I acknowledge that that there was something here, that someone was hurt on one side, but I'm releasing this, and we don't need to keep sharing each other's energy like that. I don't know, kind of makes sense in my mind, but I can also see if that seems really random. But anyways, look into cord cutting. Also look at just emotionally having a conversation with yourself about where you need to not put so much responsibility on yourself to make something happen. Often comes through when we're starting to take and make a lot of big lists for ourselves about things and expectations for ourselves. So next, we have twin flames. The answer to your question involves a spiritually based romantic relationship. This came on pile one as well, where it's like, yes, all these stresses are around love. So if you're someone who's like, I'm not sure if it's my love life that is making me this stressed, well, here you go. Here's a clarification card that says, yes, it is coming from the love life. I do feel like it's actually reaching more stress in this pile than this pile might realize, especially for the singles watching this. I think you might downplay how much it's actually affecting you, but it actually weighs on you and your subconscious a lot. I think it's always kind of running loops there. So it's really important to get some distance from that, to get some, I would say, a break from those subconscious programmings that might be feeling guilting or shaming towards yourself. And I think the best way to do that is honestly take a break from the dating apps, or to slow down, pause, and just come back to, is this person that you're putting this time into meeting the standards or the needs or the desires you had for a romantic connection? Because I think you might be feeling a bit pressured, like maybe you've chosen the wrong person and you're going to wait, say like a year, and it's not even going to be worth it, and and so it's saying like, just do those check-ins, slow down. Are they meeting those requirements? Do their desires align with yours? Do they want kids in the future? Like, is it worth putting in that time? Okay. You are profoundly clairvoyant. So it says, trust your gut and trust what you know. So it does talk about you intuitively already kind of know what you're needing and the answers that you need, but it can sometimes come through when our fear, our stress, our guilt, our shame, our inner child can come through and make us feel like, what if that's wrong? So especially for those who, like, I think both pile, like, sorry, I shouldn't say both piles, but both people in the situation, singles and in relationship, are both feeling intuitively nudged towards taking a break from dating, or taking a step back from perhaps putting pressure on the relationship, or trying to organize like wedding dates and all those things, and just coming back to like what you intuitively know. Like, if you know that this is your person and that they just need a little more time to feel secure in the relationship, to start a family, to propose to you, then trust your intuition. It's not leading you wrong. It's the fear and the guilt and the shame that can be the dysregulating thing that's leading you the wrong direction. For those who intuitively felt like they were just needing a break from dating, trust that intuition. I feel like you already had that thought. So time to get recentered. Both people need time to get recentered here. Anything else? Throat chakra. The angels are helping you literally speak your truth. So this does talk about needing to say some things, voice some things with some people. So I often say this one is like voicing boundaries or voicing needs that you have that you might have felt a little intimidated to share. A lot of this comes from past patterns in relationships and feeling like you wouldn't be heard or people wouldn't hear your feelings or see them as valid. So I do feel like there is just this guidance coming through to have those hard conversations because let's again, if you have all this stress, it's quite important for you to talk through it. So for those who are single, it could be perhaps I don't know. I feel like maybe talking to some people who maybe started dating and just saying like, I just need a break, or even telling friends or families that you're gonna get back out there, but right now you just need to focus on yourself because you're just not feeling emotionally in a place where you want to be dating someone, or putting in the effort and the energy to date someone. You just don't have it. So it is interesting. Both cards talk about setting boundaries with some people and sharing what you need. So really make sure you hear that message. Okay, we're getting close to the reading here. So I'm just going to pull from this last deck, asking if there's anything else you need to know to kind of stay as aligned and as centered in yourself as possible during this time of dysregulation. Remember your gifts. So remember your value. Focus on the blessings rather than dwelling on adversity. So that's so interesting. This has come through twice. The lighten up and be grateful for what you have. And then this one is saying, focus on what is going well, what you do have that is working well. Don't focus on all the things you don't have, on all the past you have to get to. Giving thanks to things you have right now is really, really important. So it is talking about how your focus, your mental energy might be, honestly, like I would wonder what percentage you would say in the day you give to future, far future, what you need, what you don't have. And it's really saying, hey, it's really important that you start realizing how much of your energy is going there. It's really important for you to start bring your energy back to you, what's happening right now. Look at that. Set clear boundaries. Empower yourself by setting limits, such as saying no to a request or socializing less, the kind of self-care that creates more respect and healthy relationships. And for those of you, you can set the boundary with this person that within a year of being in that relationship, that your expectation is to have a very serious conversation about whether you will see yourself married or having kids in the next year, and just like having that there but not pressuring them to do it. Literally just saying like, this is what I'm needing from life, this is my boundary. I'll give it a year, but after that, that's it. Or for those of you who are setting boundaries with, I would say, friends and pushy family members about dating or not dating. Like I feel like the singles in this pile have a lot of outside pressure to friends or family, like kind of bullying them about finding someone or something like that. So sorry about that. That seems kind of gross, but I think that might be something happening to some of you. Okay, anything else as a parting message? Center yourself. Take a few deep breaths to regain your center. Now you can approach life from a more mindful place. So lots here about breath. Like literally, I think you got the card here that says slow down, pause, and breathe. This card comes through again. So the ending note is saying, if you're going to take something away, slow down, intentionally take breaths that are more slow, more intentional, and get yourself feeling more centered. This talks about getting grounded in yourself. So you can look up ways to get grounded. You can watch a video I've made on how to get grounded, but it's really important that you start implementing that because it's going to help you get out of your head and see the situation clearer and not get so pulled into the future about what is and what isn't. So I'm wishing you the best of luck, my friends. I know you're feeling stressed or pressured. And I think the thing is I'm not sure if you realize how much of your energy is going into this. I feel like you're one of those piles where you're like, I think about it a fair amount. But then when you're out of it, you're like, oh my gosh, I was like almost obsessed with it. I was living in it every day. So I feel like you're going to find yourself in that position. which isn't an easy thing to say or an easy thing to realize. So that being said, we are going to move into the extended reading where we are going to be looking at what your person wants you to know. And that is available for the YouTube members. So if you're a member, you can see it. And if you become a member, you can always become a member for only a month or however long you want. And you do have access to all the other members only videos. So I always recommend that you check those out if you're going to sign up for the membership. All right, I'll catch you around. Hello, pile threes. So you chose the Trolleite, and we're going to be looking at, whoa, what's next in love for you? So perseverance, dig in and see it through to completion. Interesting. What's next for you in love? In light. Illusion. Okay. You know who you really are. Preparation. Get ready for big changes. And resourcefulness. You have all the resources you need. Okay, so this is the first pile that I've done today where I'm feeling fairly certain that you're going to be in a connection of some sort. The level of relationship, I don't know if you're dating, just started dating, or married. I feel like all of them could be possible here. All right, perseverance we have here. I love this. It talks about if you're having doubts about how much energy you should put into it. I do feel like it's coming through with like putting more energy and attention into your connection. So this would probably come through for someone who might be doubting if this person is going to be around, or if this is your person, or if it's worth your time. I feel like what I'm seeing here, oh, of course, Charlie, right in front of the cards, is worth it. You can't see right now where it's going to go, and that might make you nervous, but I feel like this connection ultimately is actually going to be quite great for you. Okay. Illusions. This one's interesting. So when I see illusions, it makes me feel like you you might know what you might be projecting on the person versus maybe what's actually real. You might also know the reality of the situation, but it is saying like maybe there's like some gossip or some chit chatter or just some old lingering fears that might be coming through for it. It says you know who you really are. So this, I wonder, is also coming up for anyone who might feel like how do I put this? Like perhaps if you broke up with someone and they're saying things about you that aren't so savory, or perhaps okay, we have playfulness and choice, freedom. Yeah, so I do wonder if it comes from having, maybe you were just like dating multiple people and you feel like that gave you a bad reputation or something like that. It does say like you had a choice to choose who you put your time and energy into, and ultimately you knew what was right for you. You know who you are, you knew what you needed, and you knew what you wanted. So stand by that decision. If you're having any second guessing coming through, I would stand by what you decided. And then preparation and resourcefulness. Get ready for big changes, and you have all the resources you need. So I love this. Get ready for big changes. So I kind of can't help but feel like this person that you're dating is a bit different from normal. I feel like they are going to okay, sorry. We have a lot of cat interruptions right now. Preparation. Get ready for big changes. So I feel like this person, whether you're just meeting them or in a relationship with them for a while, I think this person's going to be a pretty solid person for you. Like, I just feel like when I see big changes coming through, it often talks about different dynamics than we've ever had, and also changing our levels of commitments that we've previously had with this person. So this could be someone who's drastically in your life, way more than you're used to or than you've had before, or it could be someone who just is a lot more committed to you in ways that you've never been committed to. But overall, I do feel like it's going to cascade into a bunch of different changes in your life. You could also decide to move for this person. I wonder if some of you are thinking about traveling or moving homes. Like perhaps you're like in a long distance relationship and you're needing to actually move countries, provinces, states, something like that to be with them. But I do feel like it feels positive, like big changes. Sometimes you see that and it feels daunting, but this actually feels quite good. And preparation. So I feel like you're actually someone who's quite prepared. You're someone who probably plans a bit ahead, a little more than most people these days, and you're kind of ready for things. And I think that's also why it comes through as the guidance right now. is start making some preparations, because I think if you're prepared, I can't say that word all of a sudden. If you're prepared ahead of time, I think this pile does pretty well under stress or more chaotic situations. And resourcefulness, you have all the resources you need. So I kind of love this. Like, I feel like it's saying you're actually going to be quite grounded in this. Like, if you look at those 3 cards here, it's like, it's very supportive. It's very grounded. They're all like, earthy animals. There we go, earthy animals. So I just feel like overall the connection's going to be pretty solid. Like, don't get me wrong, there is going to be some times where perhaps you're not sure where you're standing. But I do feel like overall it's going to be pretty solid. And whenever I see resourcefulness, I also think of reassurance. I don't know. Maybe you get a lot of reassurance. But I also just say, like, if you are having needs that aren't met, it might be a good sign that you need to reach out with those needs, because it says if you have all the resources you have and you're feeling limited or unsupported, is a really good sign that might just need to voice something, say something, reach out to someone to get more of those needs. Okay, what else do you need to know about love coming forward? What's next in love for you? Pile, breathe. Beaver, productiveness. Go ahead and just do it. Once again, a very grounded animal. You have a lot of like animals that represent earth and grounded. So I am just wondering if there's a need for more action from this pile to some degree. Like, I think it's saying, like, in love, take more action. So if you're kind of wondering about making like roots or settling roots, I think it's saying go for it. Because, like, if you think about it, a beaver makes a dam, which is its home. So I just can't help but wonder if there's a lot coming through here about it's okay to get more settled. I mean, it's okay to get more settled. If you're feeling more called to get more settled in this relationship and start making more commitments, or more like, I want to say like home foundations, I don't know, making more of a home with them, something like that, then I would say move forward with it, because it just, you're really getting a lot of things pointing that direction, especially if you've intuitively already been feeling that way. Okay, Charlie, please don't eat the little plants. Please don't eat them. Okay. Anything else you need to know moving forward in love? Just go ahead and do it. I just love that. I feel like it's just like more of the story. Just go ahead and do it. Deer. Oh my gosh. Is this another land animal talking about stability here? Okay. Trust your instincts to guide you through this situation. Yeah. So like I was saying, I feel like there is a lot of internal intuitive messages or intuitive decisions you want to make, but I think your logical brain is kind of being like, are we sure this is a good idea? Should we just keep hopping along? But anyways, I feel like it's saying, yo, it's okay to be more stable, to get more rooted, to get more grounded. It might even be more settled in this relationship. So like I said, like for some of you, I wonder if like some of you are like wondering if you should move in, or like I said, move to them, or something about moving in houses. I would say this is a yes. Also, it could just be generally making more like long-term commitments, but there's like a homey aspect. So I'm just gonna stick to what I'm feeling like these cards are coming through is like creating more foundation or settling in more in the relationship. Okay, anything else from the animal deck about what's coming next? Wolf, guardian. You're safe and protected at all times. Yeah. So I do feel like if there's any fears coming up for you emotionally about it, or just practically, I do feel like a lot of this is saying like you're quite safe, you're quite prepared, you actually are in a pretty good situation. And I feel like you know that you really like trust this person. Like you made the choice to move forward with them. And I feel like it was like a big choice for you, because I'm actually feeling like these people are like a bit of overthinkers. Meaning you, the viewer, are a bit of overthinkers. I don't know why. Maybe you like astrology, but I would wonder if you have like some interesting placements for Virgo in your charts who are overthinkers. Kind of get that vibe. Okay, let's pull some cards about what you can do to stay grounded and centered in all of this. That might be nice for you, as being grounded and more settled is coming through so much for you. Okay. Firstly, probably get a cat. Just kidding. Secondly, what do you need to know right now? How can you see the most grounded and centered? Any guidance that wants to come through. We have integrity. Align your actions so that they match your values and inner knowingness about what's right for you. Okay, this is actually a great card for this pile because I feel like you do know what you want, but there's like some, I think, little mind things that go on for you that make you doubt yourself. Like you're like, is this actually what I want? I don't know. What if I'm wrong? What if this? What if that? And this talks about like, you might be like pushing away, like, how would I say? Your heart being fully open to this connection in some ways because you're trying to protect it, which is totally fair. But I feel like it's like you know what you want and you're just not totally letting yourself have it or put yourself out there. Like I think this also comes in place of feeling a little bit like, what if you're not worthy of it? What if it's like too good to be true for you? Like this does feel a little bit, I think the more I look at this, like a little bit like self doubt. As funny as that sounds, like I think you might put yourself down a little bit, like, oh, it can't be for me, or things like that. But anyways, it talks about taking action on things you've been thinking about a lot and you're wanting to do, but might just be a little bit scary, but you know they're right for you. Visualize success. This is a great guidance card. What if you started seeing things working out for you? What would it look like if things did work out? Maybe you have a habit of being a little pessimistic. What if you started being a little more optimistic? What if you started visualizing things going well, the situation having the outcome you're wanting or a positive outcome? That could be a really good place to start. Imagination, if you haven't heard this before, imagination and memory can get confused. So sometimes we even practice imagining a situation or imagining how things were. Like we can actually, in some ways, create a memory around that we think is real. So it can help us get how would I say this? It can help us feel like what we're trying to obtain is possible because by imagining it, our brains kind of think it's already happened. So it's kind of like a little bit of brainwashing, but maybe something you should do. Brainwash yourself a little more positively. Clear yourself. Yeah, so this comes through when we've had a lot of doubts, a lot of just like those subconscious thoughts that are looping and lingering. So it kind of talks about taking intentional time to kind of just like let that go. Let go of those doubts, those fears. Let go of what you don't actually know, because these aren't facts. These are just fears, uncertainties that are kind of taking up too much real estate in your brain or in your head. So let yourself just kind of shake some of that off. It could be journaling, it could be having a therapy appointment, it could be dancing, it could be getting an energy session, a Reiki session, a sound bath, you know, you name it, going to the way that you like best to kind of clear yourself of old thoughts and patterns. All right, the healing angels are with you, supporting your healing work. Okay, so this card actually usually comes through when it talks about if you've been working on like trying to break like unhealthy cycles or just like relationships with yourself, like more specifically with yourself. It talks about like you're doing a good job and you're going to get there. Don't be too hard on yourself. If there's like patterns, you know, you have, it talks about how you're going to figure those out and you're working on it and it's being acknowledged. The other thing that can come through too is like, if you're having worries about work, this card actually comes through often saying like, your work is going to be good for a little while yet. Like, I don't want to make people concerned by saying yet, but it's like from the nearby energies, it's going to be okay. You're going to, your job's going to go well. If anything, you actually might do very well at your job. The next little bit is usually why I see that come through. Not maybe by your standards, but by other people. They're going to see you doing really good at your job. And I have to like make that disclaimer because I feel like perhaps this pile is like, I've been working less hard, but people still perceive you as doing a lot of really great value for the work you're doing. So it is well valued. Oh my gosh, Charlie, you're so cute. All right. Maybe you do need a cat in your life, pile 3. Okay. Anyways, throat chakra. So interesting enough, voice, using your voice more, speaking what you need. And I have to say, when I was saying that resourcefulness card is coming through, I think there's a big ask for this pile to realize, like, if you're feeling unsupported, if you're feeling at your ropes end, there is a big ask for you to use your voice to express your needs, to reach out for support. I know, probably uncomfortable, but I think this pile is used to getting this message. That's my perspective, as so much of these cards talk about, like, you know, but you don't always actually remember to take action towards it. And it can feel uncomfortable, but that's okay. You're going to get better and better at it the more you do it. And I'm sure you've gotten better and better at it over time. Okay, trying to see if there's anything else. Let's just do a last deck here. Anything else this pile needs to know before we end this reading here? What do you need to know in your love life moving forward? Visualize the shield of protection. To protect yourself from toxic people or situations, imagine a shield of white light surrounding your body. This keeps negativity out and lets positivity energy in. So I have to say, I think this pile is way more affected by other people's opinions than they lead on and or let on to. So this kind of talks about kind of like literally imagining maybe a little energy shield, or maybe if you like I don't know, if you like stuff like this. I'm like, what is the word I'm looking for? Maybe you like knights and like battling things and things like that. But maybe like put that. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to undermine this file. I'm just like, I don't know the right words for this. Like if you like imagination, video games, things like that, I would imagine perhaps you can picture yourself easily in like a protective armor, and it's not blocking love and light from coming through. It's just keeping out people's unsavory, low energy thoughts. So it doesn't actually have to touch you. You can see them, you can acknowledge them, but you don't have to get emotionally attached to them. And I think that's really important, because it's almost like that by like intentionally picturing like an armor on yourself, or a bubble of light, or a wall of like light or love, or a shield or something like that, you're literally setting the intention that you're not going to take things personally, because odds are what's going on for that other person, whatever's seeming judgmental or whatever it is actually them just trying to take care of their own needs. So it's usually not about you. Okay. Let go of being a martyr. Okay, I actually get this card all the time for myself. It talks about stop being an overgiver and start letting people support you and receive from others. So being a martyr means like, in this context of this card, it means like you might be creating hardships for yourself unintentionally. Like you're not intentionally being like, I want to be struggling. It's just like because you feel like you need to overgive, you often are putting yourself in a situation where you're going to set yourself up for failure. You're going to get burnt out, and people are going to disappoint you. And it's saying, reach out for support more. Use that beautiful throat chakra that you have, that great voice, and ask for what you need more, because odds are people want to support you. They're going to feel like they're actually in a reciprocal relationship when they can support you back. And it also just helps you not get, I would say like disappointed in relationships, because that could probably happen easily with this pile, because you're always like helping others out or overgiving. And sometimes it's saying you can get disappointed by others because they don't know how to give back. They don't know what your needs are, but you might intuitively be very good at perceiving people's needs. All right, last card. Set clear boundaries. Empower yourself by setting limits, such as saying no to a request or socialization. This kind of self-care creates more respect, healthy relationships. Ooh, so yeah, using your voice is a very big one for this pile. Use that voice more in love, in connections, in relationships, maybe even with yourself. Okay, we're going to leave this here, and we're going to move into the YouTube members only part of the reading. If you're interested in that, you can become a YouTube member for however long you like, and you do have access to all the other videos. So I do recommend you check those other extendeds out if you're going to pay for this extended. That being said, we're going to move into it, and we're going to be looking at what your person wants you to know.